Now, I made a video before on X-Men 97 being a flop. I wasn't saying the show was bad, but I was just saying that there was lower viewership numbers and everything. So welcome back to Views with Hughes, Jennifer News. This is Jerome Hughes. Got more about X-Men 97 as well as the viewership numbers and how it compares to other shows. So we're going to go ahead and get right into it. All right. Now, let's break this down. First and foremost, I'm not bashing the show. I haven't seen it yet. All I've been doing was talking about the different numbers that's been coming up. And you know what? Got a lot of people telling me that, you know, the show is good and it's not a flop and such and such. But the thing is, it seems to look like a flop to me, because even though a lot of people telling me it's good and everything, and I'll watch the show sooner or later, but other than that, it's not pulling in any viewership numbers. And I'm pretty sure I got a few ideas why, but I'm going to go ahead and, I'll share that later. But the fact of the matter is, this is coming in from, on X and stuff, where somebody actually went on here broke this down. So I'm going to give you the walkthrough with X-Men 97 and how it shows up with the 2024 share of Disney Plus original series viewership. Okay. Now I'll walk you through this on why this X-Men 97 is top notch, but it's not pulling in the viewers like you'd expect. So for in 2024, this show X-Men 97 season 1, it's grabbed about 6.8% of all viewership for Disney Plus original series, as y'all can see here. Now, it might not sound decent, right? But almost 7% of all the Disney Plus originals, that's not too shabby, but it's doing better than Star Wars, the Bad Batch. But wait a minute. Let's go ahead and dive a little deeper. So take a look at, The Mandalorian season 1, which has 2.6%, and season 3 with 3.3%. Add those up and you've got 6.6%. Now, if you think about it, The Mandalorian season 2 is probably in that other 33% of viewership. And you can bet it's got at least 1%. So what this means is that people rewatching old episodes of Mandalorian is actually beating X-Men 97. And guess what? That's not a great sign, since X-Men 97 is a new series. Now, Star Wars The Bad Batch is pretty much neck and neck with X-Men 97, but I wouldn't call that a huge win either. I mean, look at where Star Wars stands now. Echo is at 11.8% compared to X-Men. Even that was still a flop. And even though people didn't really flock to that series of Echo, it's doubling what X-Men 97 pulled in. But here's a real shocker. Percy Jackson, as y'all can see in the Olympians, is at 23.3%. That's more than triple what X-Men 97 got. And here's also another thing. Now, no one really went nuts about making videos about Percy Jackson and Olympians. Did they? No. And there's other YouTubers that have there really been any other YouTubers all over that? Not really. Why? Because the show wasn't that big a deal. Okay. So it's a tough drought in Disney Plus land, and even solid shows are fighting hard for every viewer. And you know what? Now you know how we keep track of what's hot and not in streaming, okay? So on January 18th, they released this list by Nielsen, right? And the scoreboard shows that Percy Jackson, now pull this up, Percy Jackson actually has, it's at what, number 4, but that's just among the new shows, but not the whole TV world. Meanwhile, Young Sheldon is killing at number 1 overall. All right. And this isn't necessarily the chart here and everything, but this is from April 8th to the 14th. But you know what? Something we also got to notice that Percy Jackson kicked off back on December 19th and got into the top 10 that week. All right. So this is the more updated one from most recent times. I'm talking about what happened previously before last year. And you know what? That's when it started grabbing the 4th spot for new episodes with a whopping 572 million minutes watched. But hold on. We're not really talking about here to talk about, Percy Jackson. We're simply here to talk about X-Men 97. All right. That's what we're digging into. Back to the pie chart at hand. We're looking at we're trying to figure out why X-Men 97 is tanking. And it really is. See, if we compare X-Men 97 to Percy Jackson, which got a 23.3% of watch time in 2024. And remember, not even counting this premiere since it started last year. it actually looks like X-Men 97's numbers are way lower. And I'm being super generous here, okay? But even if we were to say that X-Men 97 got a third of Percy's numbers, it's still not hitting 200 million minutes. Not even close, okay? So right now we're comparing TV shows based on how much they watch, not because if they're good or not, okay? And we're using this thing called Nielsen ratings, which is like a scorecard for TV shows. Now, X-Men 97, which you'd expect to be super popular, isn't even making the list for the week of April 8th through 14th, like as you see here. And it's not just pulling through viewers, but for perspective, Fallout right here is that number one. It's crushing it with almost 3 billion minutes watched. And even a kid's show like Bluey has 1.3 billion minutes. And then there's Wish, a movie that flopped at the box office, but still got 642 million minutes on TV. Bob's Burgers and Family Guy aren't even releasing new episodes. They just did the old ones playing on Hulu. But guess what? They're still doing awesome with 734 million and 679 million minutes. Now, looking at new and original content, Star Trek Discovery on Paramount Plus is getting 257 million minutes. And that's way more than what X-Men 97 got, which is maybe under 200 million minutes, excuse me. And even some lesser known shows like It Likes a Cake also. And the gentlemen are doing way better than X-Men 97. It's actually pretty embarrassing for X-Men 97 to be outdone by Star Trek Discovery, if you ask me. But let me put it in plain talk for you, okay? We don't really have any clue how much money they spent on making X-Men 97. And that's important to say up front, since we don't know what they spent on how much cash X-Men 97 is bringing in. And it's really tough to call it a hit or miss, but it's all a bit of a mystery. Now, for shows like on Disney Plus, like X-Men 97, figuring out if their success is like trying to solve a puzzle, basically, you know. You need to look at exactly how much is coming in from the ads as well as the different tiers and everything. But the fact of the matter is that X-Men 97 still has, lower viewership numbers and everything. And, I'm definitely getting into detail about that. But I'm pretty sure I have like about a good idea about what's actually happening at hand, But you need to also look at, how much money that they've actually went on ahead and brought in. Okay. So the fact of the matter is, it's just a bit interesting because of the simple fact that, they have like a lot of people out there who are anticipating on watching it. But then at the same time, how many people actually signed up to watch the show itself of X-Men 97, how many actually stuck around? But even Disney finds this hard to do. Not just us regular folks, okay? Now, if we compare it to the other shows, it's actually like random episodes of Family Guy and even Bob's Burgers do, and then look at how the movie Wish did at the box office. That's way behind X-Men 97, and it kind of looks like X-Men 97 isn't pulling its weight. Now, Disney surely didn't think this show would never make a ripple, not showing up even once on those TV rankings. But maybe the season finale will get X-Men 97 notice on some smaller Nielsen chart in the next few weeks. Now, if that happens, that's good for them. But I doubt that Disney had that in mind when they actually decided to go ahead and bring X-Men back. Okay. But there's also a bit of a difference between how good X-Men 97 is, as well as, how X-Men, how many people watch X-Men 97. Now, I'm really annoyed by what the creators and the critics are saying and stuff, making it sound like X-Men are fighting against populism based on interviews and stuff. And this is what people have been telling me about the show so far. And that messes me up because it turns the X-Men into more of a political statement. Melody might even quit after the second episode because of this. And if you want to enjoy X-Men 97, you have to basically ignore the fact that they're pushing the current political issues and making it seem like a lot of people, maybe in the US or possibly in Argentina, are against X-Men. Populism is actually made out to be the enemy in this case. And you can tell from the sounds in X-Men 97 that somebody showed me. In the old cartoon, you see sounds like mutants go home. And now you see stuff like evolution is a lie, and mutants are a sin. Now, they basically brought today's religious debates into X-Men 97. Now, I don't think that's a good move, to be honest with you. And it's like making a religious people who have concerns today the bad guys, basically, and who want to get rid of all the mutants. And that's not fair. A lot of people who probably don't deserve that label. But anyway, that's enough about that topic. So what's actually going on with the low viewership of X-Men 97? Why is it not doing well? Well, here's what I think's happening. Marvel's actually, we all know that Marvel's been actually messing up for years now, and they've turned off a lot of their fans. And it's going to take years, like I've said before, like 1 or 2, maybe even 5 years for them to bring back the fans and stuff, and those fans would come back by making shows like this. And here's something you might not hear everywhere. Disney Plus and Disney have probably pushed away the biggest group of people who will be interested in X-Men 97. And X-Men 97 is bringing back a 90s cartoon, or is supposedly, right? But the kids, mostly boys, but some girls too, who watched it back then in the day, myself included, are all grown up now. And I bet Disney has lost them more than any other group. So it's actually tough on X-Men 97 to find that crowd again, especially since it's only on Disney Plus. Now, here's what Marvel as well as Kevin Feige need to take away from all of this. They're on the right track, but they got to stop throwing these out of place reminders of today's politics or the woke ideology. And it just doesn't fit with the whole 90s vibe, if you ask me. Man, they should also stay away from bashing the national populism. I mean, who knows? Maybe more than half the country and some big countries out there may actually support that. Now, it's also wrong to try to tilt the scales in a cartoon about stuff like that, but cartoons should actually explore the big ideas and morals, not dive into political movements. And they need more depth too, but Marvel can actually cut out all that woke stuff and keep it, you know, up for years. And then they can win back their fans, and their ratings could shoot through the roof. Now, but right now, until proven otherwise, X-Men 97 is a flop. Now I'm waiting to see how many people watch the last episode of X-Men 97, to be honest with you, and might get some fans back, but it's not going to be a massive hit that changes everything. Still, they could actually make a second or even third season, but I really don't agree with Bo DeMaio, the guy who was in charge of this cartoon before he got fired. And I think it's a bad move for Disney to hire someone who is running an OnlyFans account to make this show for kids. But I had to be fair here. Even though I don't think that they'll return the favor like Charles Xavier would, Bo DeMaio was said to have actually done a fantastic job with the show. X-Men 97 probably won't get as many viewers as Marvel and Disney hoped for, but you know what? That shouldn't make them give up, and they should see it as a reason to keep trying and win back the fans. And it'll actually take time, if you ask me, but the faster they move away from this pushing this woke social political agendas, the faster they'll win back the audience. Okay, now I saw, like, we can take this and compare this with other movies too. I saw Black Adam. I love the movie, but it's still a flop. Okay, even though more people started getting interested after it was on Max and everything, and it was out of theaters, it was still a flop because not many people saw it. And you know what? Disney has only themselves to blame because of the fact that they've already turned off the fans and stuff who loved X-Men, even though X-Men 90s cartoon. But the fact of the matter is, they're going to have to get away from this kind of woke ideology being injected into the content today and go ahead and simply get back to entertaining. So let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Also, be sure to include any additional thoughts you might have on this particular topic. If you enjoyed what I shared in this video, go ahead, smash the like button, and share far wide across social media. And if you haven't done so already and you enjoyed all the content I put out there, go ahead, subscribe to the channel. Click the bell notification so that way you'll be notified of future uploads and updates. Until then, peace.